A very good evening and welcome to Prime TV News, coming to you live and direct from the Prime TV studios with me, Abrar Abid. Now, before we go into our stories in detail, let's take a look at our headlines. Elections chief says there's no intention of halting the social media network. SLTB to deploy 5,800 buses for election work. ITN has finalized arrangements to announce election results. There could be a reduction of dust particles within Colombo. Facebook shuts down 5.4 billion fake accounts this year. In our lead story, the independent television network has taken steps to broadcast the official results of the presidential election on the day of the election of the 7th executive president. Themed first and independent, the presidential election transmission will commence at 7 a.m. on the day after tomorrow. The independent television network has already made arrangements to broadcast these results as the permanent guardian of the presidential election and the protector of the people's power in Sri Lanka. There will also be an analysis of the results of the previous presidential elections. ITN viewers awaiting the results of the presidential election will also be given the opportunity to view Hindi films.
Mission Mangal.
Steps have been taken to bring results from the ITN HD studio using high-tech equipment. Chairman of the Elections Commission has said that there is no intention of halting the social media network during the election period. Addressing a media briefing in Colombo, he emphasized that not compel the Election Commission take such an initiative.
Mahinda Deshapre has dismissed the widespread online posts claiming that social media users may have activated VPNs, as he intends to take stern action against engaging in election propaganda activities during the silent period that commences from midnight yesterday. He said that all these claims are absolute fabrications, while urging the general public to avoid compelling them to take measures of such extent. He said they will be requesting Facebook to remove all social media advertisements, paid and sponsored advertisements, tomorrow onwards. The chairman further said that the election propaganda officers cannot be maintained during this period. Election officers in the villages were also advised to remove their campaign posters and cutouts and close the offices from the day after tomorrow. Since there cannot be any election propaganda during this period, they will have to put a stop to any indirect political campaigning if any such incidents to take place. The police have been requested to intervene if there are any activities such as fasting protests organized on a roster basis. Police media spokesman expressed view with respect to social media used during this election period. Senior SP Ruwan Gunasekara said that all campaign activities with regard to the presidential election are banned. He said the law will be strictly enforced if any goes against the legal provisions. He said that these laws also apply to social media network and they were frequently monitoring this network. If any serious situation was reported, he added that they would not hesitate to investigate into it.
In more news at home, the Sri Lanka Central Board has taken action to deploy 5,800 SLTB buses for election work. A special bus service is operative from this evening for those who are leaving for their hometowns to exercise their franchise. This was stated by Timetable and Planning Manager of the Sri Lanka Transport Board, Rajiva Diluksha.
Rajiv Diluksha mentioned that they have taken initiatives to operate special bus services for those who are leaving for their hometowns to cast their votes in the elections. Today they have deployed 60 buses for operation. They have planned to operate 140 buses tomorrow and around 50 buses on the other day. Action has been taken to operate around 250 to 300 buses. He said that in addition, they have transport police officers for election duties. 1,366 buses are allocated for election work. Parallel to these activities, they have made arrangements to deploy buses to transport the public. The regional depots will be deploying buses to transport the public who will be returning from their hometowns after casting their votes. He mentioned that the buses operating on the expressway have also been increased. This task has been undertaken in collaboration with the National Transport Commission. Accordingly, he called on the public to start leaving for their homes without any fear, as there are sufficient buses operating from their convenience.
Returning officers claim that they have finalized all arrangements necessary for the presidential election. Measures have also been taken to direct the state officials to their respective locations. The returning officers stated that they have drawn their attention with respect to several special matters in the setting of polling booths.
Kalutara District Secretary said they are ready to provide the elections officials and the ballot boxes to all the election booths. They expected to commence the counting of votes by around 5:15 p.m. Anuradhapura District Secretary R.M. Vaninayaka said that all activities with respect to the presidential election have been planned out and all necessary arrangements are finalized. 634 election booths will be operating within the district. Voting will commence in several electorates of the districts on the 16th. After the completion of this work, the counting process will begin at the Madhya Mahavidyalaya. They have also finalized arrangements with respect to the counting process. He said that he is unable to give a special time for the release of the results, but he mentioned that they would commence the counting of the postal votes at 5:15 p.m. on Saturday. The counting of the votes is due to begin by around 7 p.m.
In more local news, 112 complaints with respect to the presidential election have been reported by yesterday. Transparency International said that of this, 88 had been confirmed. However, acting national organizer of protection of property of the organization, Lakvijaya Bandara, addressing a media conference in Colombo, said that they witness a reduction in the number of election complaints parallel to the previous presidential election. By yesterday, the overall number of complaints they had received was 112. When taking into consideration, he said that many government-owned vehicles had been used for election meetings and also for political activities. In comparison to the previous presidential election, this is a decline, as the number of complaints received during that election was 373. This clearly depicts number in the complaints received. He said that the Transparency International wishes to make a request from the National Election Commission that stern action should be taken against the perpetrators and that the law should be enforced against them. He made a fervent appeal from the public to respect the election law and also to be vigilant in this respect. If there is a violation of the law in the future, he called on the public to lodge complaints. The National Building Research Organization has said that there could be a reduction of dust particles within Colombo and its environs. Senior scientist of the organization, Sarat Premisiri, advised sensitive people to be mindful of the unhealthy air quality engulfed in the Colombo area. Colombo might experience a condition of another unhealthy air quality situation on November 16th as well. Mr. Premisiri said this unhealthy condition was due to the weather patterns and added the prevailing condition would eventually decline but might be experienced afterwards as well. Vehicle emissions and other gaseous emissions released by others do not move up and away but remain at ground level due to the prevailing low pressure resulting in air stagnation conditions. He added that the Colombo city had been the worst affected area due to a hike in the air quality index. The Attorney General has ordered the Colombo High Court to inform the judiciary on December 2nd the legal initiatives that are to be taken against 8 persons, including Samra Pulige Viraj Roshan alias Ali Roshan. The defendants, including Ali Roshan, are accused of possessing elephants illegally. The three-bench Colombo High Court has decided to accept the preliminary objections filed by the defendants in the related case against them. As such, the Attorney General has informed the judiciary whether amendments are to be submitted with respect to the indictments. In more news at home, all liquor stores will be closed on the 16th and 17th. The Excise Department has taken in view of the presidential election. The Commissioner General of the Excise Department took this decision as per a request made by the Elections Commission to facilitate a free and fair election. Accordingly, Deputy Commissioner of Excise Kapila Kumarasinghe said that nearly 1,000 excise officers will be deployed island-wide in search of those who violate the Excise Department's orders. In our weather update, the Department of Meteorology has forecast several spells of showers will occur in northern, north central and eastern provinces and in Hambantota district. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places elsewhere. Fairly heavy falls of about 50 to 75 millimeters can be expected at some places in Sabaragamuwa, central and western provinces and in Galle and Matare districts. It is said that misty conditions can be expected at some places in western, Sabaragamuwa and central provinces during the morning. The Met Department called on the public to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. It also forecast showers or thunder showers at several places in the sea areas extending from Puttalam to Hambantota via Colombo and Galle during the afternoon or night. Let's now take a look at the very latest in the business arena. The Asian Development Bank and the government yesterday signed a $150 million tranche 2 loan agreement for the second integrated road investment program to continue ADB's assistance to upgrade Sri Lanka's rural road network, thereby connecting vast rural populations to jobs and services. Secretary to the Treasury and Ministry of Finance, Dr. R.H.S. Samaratunga, signed the loan agreement for the Government of Sri Lanka and ADB Sri Lanka Resident Mission Officer in Charge Manjula Amarasinghe signed on behalf of ADB. A project agreement was also signed between ADB and Nihal Surya Rachi, Chairman, Road Development Authority, the project's implementing agency. Under the second integrated road investment program, which was approved by ADB's Board of Directors on the 29th of September 2017, about 3,400 kilometers of rural access roads and 340 kilometers of national roads in the eastern, northern and Uva provinces, as well as part of the western province, will be rehabilitated or improved. That's all the news for today. Do join us again tomorrow for the very latest. For the Prime TV News team, I'm Abrar Abid. A very good evening and take care.